Do you know what the word hero means? Do you know what the word
Yeah.
hero means? You and your colleagues, don't minimize. Do not ever minimize what you did. You and your colleagues saved all the people on your kibbutz. You stood up.
At the Mefalsim kibbutz near the border with Gaza, security cameras show the initial Hamas attack. Volunteer security forces, outnumbered and outgunned, spent hours exchanging fire with militants. Some of the men who defended the kibbutz described that morning to CNN.
Eli shot from his kitchen, right? He shot from his balcony. I shot from in between houses of people I know all my life. He had to throw his kids over a balcony to another guy's house. I mean, it's real. It's unreal. It's not when you're combat soldiers and you go whatever to do, whatever you go. Okay, it's totally different.
We are civilian, you know.
Right.
We have families.
It's your homes.
We are not combat soldiers.
It's a totally different story.
Daily.
An Israeli first responder group says plans to attack the kibbutz were recovered from a dead Hamas fighter. CNN reviewed the documents which show in-depth knowledge of the kibbutz, but also reveal the attacks did not go according to plan.
I was woken up 6:30 with the first barrage, Saturday morning, with the first barrage of Qassam rockets. We went to our shelter in our house, stayed there with the kids, and after a few minutes, we started hearing gunshots. My wife said that she hears gunshots. I said immediately, naturally, I said, no, it can't be. And then there was another very big, very, very strong, very loud barrage of gunfire and explosions, sorry. And we immediately understood that something big is happening. I looked at my cell phone. I saw WhatsApp messages from our security team commander saying he got shot on the fence. They shot his car on the gate, and he was screaming for people to get to the gate. So I looked at my wife, told her that I have to go. I'm not sure that either of us understood the meaning of going out at that point. I have my gear, Kevlar and magazines and everything at home. So I put on my gear, I took my gun out, kissed my wife, kissed my daughters, locked and loaded, and got out of my house alone and starting walking in a very tactical formation towards the gate, so to see what's going on. I was trying to reach with the radio, WhatsApp, other guys. At that point, there was a lot of radio interference, a lot of internet interference. It was very hard to get a call out or even radio signals out, but we managed. I got to a parking lot or near a parking lot that looks outside the kibbutz. And at that point, I saw 3 guys wearing black outside of our perimeter fence, just looking outside. I wasn't sure who they are. I was about 70 meters, that would be around 70 yards away from them. And then they turned around and I saw AK-47s. So I knew these are not our forces. I shot at them. One fell and the other 2 ran away. So I went around to the first parking lot to see if I can understand what's going on the main gate. When I got there, I saw from us basically safe place, I saw around 15 terrorists working around the gate, giving high fives, hugging each other, screaming, laughing. It was about a minute or 2 after they broke in, maybe more, about they finally broke into the kibbutz, but they weren't flooding us. Until now, I can't understand why or what happened, that they didn't just came in. I started shooting at this mass of people in black. I saw some fell, but I was simply shooting for them not to get to the gate. Two of our guys were already fighting them before I even got them on the gate. Apparently, they basically stopped them from getting in and rushing us all down. After I did this short bursts of fire, they basically understood where I was, so they started to shoot back. So I had to get back and take cover. After that, I was basically trying to maintain a perimeter so they won't get into the neighbors, the houses. I found one guy from my group that came out with a handgun, and another civilian that was in his home. He shouted from the window that he has a handgun, so I asked them to come with me. And that's it. We start to walk around in between houses, trying to finding them, trying to make them understand that they can't come in. Shot a bit into this group of terrorists. So every time they started to arrange themselves, we fired back. We even had an encounter with two of them in the middle of, in between the houses of the kibbutz. As you can see, we won
Thank God. Thank God, yes.
this encounter. At around 9 a.m., maybe 9:30, before that, around 8:30, they tried to enter from another side of the kibbutz. Two of them got shot down, and the third and fourth ran out, and they got shot outside. And around 9 or 9:30 a.m., they tried to come from the south side of the kibbutz. There are three members of our security team pinned them down and basically made it impossible for those 15, maybe more terrorists to come around from the back, from the south part. In the wakes of the days, we understood that we had around 40 other terrorists on the other side of the road in a place that we couldn't see from where we were. But soldiers were fighting them, and an Apache helicopter got in time, basically wiped them out. Around 10:30, maybe a bit later, first group that I saw, maybe they got there first, but the first group of army response got in the kibbutz, and we started to make a sweep of the kibbutz with them, calling people out. I was screaming, I was knocking on doors and screaming my name, the name of my father, of my mother, so people know that this is me, this is really me. I'm not being forced to do it. Asking people if they're okay. Most of the people answered and opened a window or door, but some didn't. As the day went, we understood that it's apparently we have no live dead terrorists inside, and apparently no dead civilian too. We had two soldiers that got a bit of shrapnel from a grenade, but they are okay. They're already outside of the hospital. We had a student that got grenade fragments in his back and his arms, and he's gonna be okay. He's a bit in a hard place, but it's gonna be okay. There's no life. It's not life-threatening, but it's gonna take a while. Two other guys that were out of the kibbutz making how we say running, they ran for fun. They got hit, but the both of them are okay too. And about, I don't know, about maybe 4 in the afternoon, 5 in the afternoon, we start to feel a bit safer that maybe we actually stopped it from happening in our house, in our home. And then we start to understand what was going around in other kibbutzim. For you to understand, Kfar Aza, it's not even 2 miles away. It's 1.5 miles away. Nahal Oz is 3 miles away. So
This is Mefalsim, everyone.
Yeah.
This is the kibbutz, and Yarden just talked about Nahal Oz. It's about 2 miles. It's about 2 miles from here, from Mefalsim, where Yarden was, to this kibbutz Nahal Oz.
and in the middle between them, there is Kfar Aza.
Right
It's
here.
even more close. Yes.
Correct. Kfar Aza to here is about 1.5 miles, if not less.
At the time, because we had no internet and no power for most of the day, so people weren't really aware of what was going on around. I think because they didn't manage to actually get in the kibbutz and start doing these massacres that they did, people weren't actually understanding what was going on. Even at the time, I think around 11, I got to my house to see how my wife and kids are. And my wife was making breakfast. Like she wasn't even understanding the ferocity of the thing. I explained I talked to her in Portuguese, hoping my oldest daughter wouldn't understand. But it seems like she understood a bit of what I was saying. I asked them, please stay in the shelter, please stay close, please lock the door, because it's something else. It's a bigger thing that we ever encountered.
Tell us who those guys are quickly. Who are those guys?
So the first guy to the left, at my side, his name is David. We call him Didi. He was one of the guys that fought the south part of the kibbutz. He has a second level to his home, like a balcony. So we fired from there, pinpointing the terrorists. Second one is me. Third one from the left with the white shirt, his name is Shaked. He encountered 2 terrorists on the west side of the kibbutz.
Who's that big guy in the middle next to Shaked?
The big guy in the middle, his name is Luis. He actually wasn't in the kibbutz in that day, but he got the next day morning. He was already in the kibbutz. He got in this photo. He's already in his own reserve unit, so he had to go. The second guy from the right, his name is Eli. He also fought in the south part of the kibbutz. Fought like a lion. He was firing from inside his own kitchen through his window at the terrorists. And the first one to the right, his name is Noam. His house was actually hit with a Qassam rocket as the day started. The first barrage came in and his house got hit. He managed to take his family and all this stuff he needed for the combat to his neighbor's house, and he joined the fight too. What you have to understand is that our kibbutz got basically a free pass. We didn't lose anybody. The destruction wasn't that bad. We won the fight, and basically won the fight outside. They never got and did a lot of mass inside. But we have a regional school, so my niece lost 7 or 10 of her friends, schoolmates. Her brother lost probably the same number. We all have friends, people we know that got killed, got kidnapped. people we don't know about what's going on still now, 3 weeks after. Israel, as I think now, is in a state of shock. I mean, it's so big. It's so through all of the Israeli population. It's not only kibbutznikim. It's not only guys from the kibbutz. It's not only guys from the south. It's not only guys from whatever. You had people from all walks of life there, living, working, having fun at that festival. What you know, in the States, you say 6 degrees of separation, right? So in
Correct.
Israel, it's about 2. The size and basically everybody, either in the army or in the college, or somebody knows somebody. So it's about 2, maybe 3 degrees of separation. So everyone you meet at least know of somebody that lost somebody. Most of the cases, you have people lost someone, if not more than one. So it's a huge shock. It's a huge punch in the belly.
Do you know what the word hero means? Do you know what the word
Yeah.
hero means? You and your colleagues, don't minimize. Do not ever minimize what you did. You and your colleagues saved all the people on your kibbutz.
Yes.
You stood up. I'm sure the other kibbutzim, had they had the opportunity to do what you did, they would have done the same thing to try to protect
They all died.
their
They all
people.
tried. They all fought. We just had a little bit more of luck. This is all I really don't understand how we managed that. And I mean, I know that Kfar Aza was hit with around 200 terrorists. If we had 200 terrorists running in Mefalsim, I wouldn't be here talking to you, for sure. I know that Be'eri had 300 terrorists walking around. Nir Oz had 100. So I know we had around 30 or 40, which is still a huge number.